Did you put off all the light? I just wanted to make it so, Your Excellencies, a very, very distinguished invitees, Your Excellencies, the diplomatic corps, business entrepreneurs, Ndigwe. I don't think anyone has mentioned Ndigwe. Ndigwe, I can see the traditional rulers. Several of them are also captains of industry. I can see Igwe Igulube. Because we are going to be commissioning one of your factories very soon. So you're all welcome. And let me say, all other protocols duly observed. Our brothers, our deputy governors from the respective states, Bonye, Yobe, and I think even, is that Oyo? I understand he arrived yesterday. Maybe he's yet to come. I hope nobody is confused about the timing for this event. And then also the president of the Afrexim Bank. We're still expecting him to arrive, but I think the senior, that's what I have been made to understand, that this is the first time we're having this kind of investment summit of this structure. We've had some round tables, some miniature conversations, but today we wanted to put together quite one at the beginning of several of the events that we have scheduled to intentionally prepare and package Anambra as the next axis of prosperity. So I want to thank and welcome all of you to Anambra State, the light of the nation. You are all welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you could note, this event, which was planned a few months ago, Honorable Minister Nkai, this is Ada Anambra, the brand new minister, our own minister representing us at the federal cabinet, and then of course our brother Chief George Mogalo, who will soon help us to deliver the Onitsha port to become very functional, as it were. You're all welcome. So apologies, as you could see, the president is in China, and with him happened to be quite a large contingent of Nigeria's entrepreneurs. And I know that a few dozens in the Anambra entrepreneurs who had earlier even confirmed to be here for this summit, unfortunately had to go with him. But we thought it was better, as they were calling me to apologize, they wouldn't be able because they were going with the president. I said, that is even better. Go there and negotiate for further investments into Anambra State. And so, but even in spite of that, I still, I understand the confirmed 500, but I'm told 1,300 already here. But thank you very much, and welcome to Anambra. In a few stops, I want to say to you, and that message has been said, with the Niger Bridge completed, Asaba and Onitsha have become almost like New Jersey and New York, twin cities. We have the largest market in West Africa, it is said. I remember one of the times that the former president, Obasanjo, visited here and we were seeing him off to the airport, he did mention to me that Onitsha is actually the largest fish market, and not only in Nigeria, even in West Africa. You have the billionaires, as been said, enterprise and human capital. We have 15 major higher institutions, tertiary institutions, 10 universities, 3 polytechnics, 2 colleges of education. That is on course. Our vision is to be governments of the state. We've signed an MOU, very intentional about addressing the issue of power. We've signed an agreement with EEDC we'll have gas pipelines being planned to be able to energize independent power plants and to really develop an Anambra electricity market. Urban regeneration is on course. Water and ports, as we mentioned, on course. Planning a rail feasibility study and master plan. That's part of the MOUs we are going to sign today. A 2,000-kilometer fiber optic ducts being laid across the state to give people access to cheap and accessible internet access. And we are determined to break the jinx, decade-old jinx, about availability of urban and rural pipe-borne water schemes in Anambra State. That is also on course. Industrial city, industrial parks, and an industrial city, you'll be talking about that today. Our export emporium and Africa's largest shopping mall is on course. That's being designed now. The feasibility study is finished. The agricultural regeneration, palm and coconut revolution, etc. The Chinese ambassador, I understand there's an MOU we're going to sign with you with regards to mushroom production and export and other strategic investments and export potentials to as you mentioned here, China, the largest market, at least by the size of the population, and so on. And of course, you have the second largest GDP in the world, a huge market which we need to exploit. And thank you for coming, and with the team that you have here. About 400 Chinese live in Anambra, in various sectors. And there are 2 institutions where Chinese language is taught here in Anambra. And as I mooted to you when we passed, we'll give you an estate where you'll build a Chinatown. It's not just the boulevard. You're going to have the Chinatown here in Anambra. And you did say to me that you will take it up and get it done. So we're waiting for the boulevard that you mentioned and a whole lot of others. We're also having our people intentionally, we're developing from importation to production and exportation. Many of those companies are people who are importing from China, from India. We have a special program. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with 300 of them, major importers, to develop an agenda very deliberately to turn them from being importers to domestic producers and ultimately places. We'll take you to the Solution Fund City here, the destination point. The world will intentionally plan to come to Anambra. And in a few years' time, our goal is that any visitor, any foreigner that gets to Nigeria and hasn't been to Anambra, hasn't been to Nigeria. Our human capital agenda, quite ongoing on talk. We're prioritizing that. And in the next 2 weeks, I will be addressing our people on education. Education is key. Our human capital is our biggest resource ever. We have the gas, we have natural resources, minerals, solid minerals, and so on. But our greatest resource is human capital. And we're intentional about developing our human capital to be productive at home, but also to be exportable abroad. On governance, everything technology and technology everywhere, to mainstream efficient service delivery. Today we know that in Anambra, you can now obtain change of title of land, your certificate of occupancy, and so on. It's gone from taking months and 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. It's now cut down to 3 days, 3 to 5 days, and you get your CFO in Anambra State. We're very intentional about this, and we're not joking about it. A new local government system is emerging. Our environment, our biggest existential threat. We are working towards a planned, clean, green, and sustainable markets, communities, and cities. We're planning better. We are the gully erosion capital of the world. Everywhere, gully erosion. You can see the Onitsha, Owerri federal highway has been caught in many places by gully erosion. And Anambra State is putting out a few billions to fix that. And then the other day, the one Nobi to Mpo is also being cut completely. And different spots, as we're fixing here, the other places are rising, but we're coming with we've come with a comprehensive agenda, which the State Assembly, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you and members of the State Assembly are also here, especially recognize you. And I'm sure when you are back from your holidays, that will be one of the first bills we will be presenting to you to rescue our environment and make our environment sustainable. Our urban regeneration agenda is on course. I can go on and on and on and on and on, but just to tell you, our potential investors, that Anambra, we are firing on all cylinders, and Anambra will be that place for you to come. This is an investment summit like no other. And I will tell you a few things that will make this different. And I'm glad country coordinator of the United Nations system here and the Chinese ambassador. Chinese ambassador particularly stressed that this shouldn't just be talk, we should be closing deals. Is that? This is a summit, an investment summit that is different. It's not just coming to talk. Not much ceremonies, not much protocols. We'll symbolically sign some deals in a few minutes' time. I'm sure by the time we listen to our keynote speaker, president of the Afrexim Bank, I would also be mentioning some specific engagements we have with them, because we will also be signing an MOU with them today. We are very intentional and deliberate. I've mentioned a structured program to mainstream people from importation to production and to exportation eventually, especially exploiting the opportunities under the Africa Free Trade Agreement that we have. The world is for us, and Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, but it's potentially one of Nigeria, by the turn of this century, should be in the top 3, top 4 largest economy in the world if we focus our mind toward it. But whatever Nigeria goes, Anambra is determined to become a point that we will be exporting deliberately in some months to come. And that's why we've acquired 106 hectares of land at Ukpo Ukulu. And that's where we're establishing the Export Emporium with the warehouses, an aggregation center that will become a free trade zone, an export free trade zone. We are innovation district to midwife the emergence of digital tribe, and so on and so forth. Our 1U2 skills program, we're trying to mainstream deliberately and empower the emergence of MSMEs, okay, in the state. Organizing funding, thinking it through, and trying to do the mentoring process from gestation, project development to execution. Execution, execution, execution. We are investing in project development. Feasibility studies to take project to bankability. This is different. We're not just telling you, come and invest. We want to handhold and work with you. As I say everywhere, if you have a major investment to make in Anambra, I will become your personal assistant. And will be the chief marketing officer for you. When you see me wearing made in Obunike shoe, or wearing the Akwete made by the women of Akwete in Abia, or driving innocent vehicles as my personal vehicles, it is deliberate, it's intentional, and it is designed to send a message that if we don't say here we are, nobody is going to say there you are. We'll be the chief marketing officer for anything, everything produced here in Anambra. And we're going to have an expo on Made in Anambra Expo. And we will be doing that expo shortly in a few months at the Export Emporium. We will invite you again to come to the Export Emporium. That is it. Made in Anambra for the world. We'll be marketing them. And today we'll be signing an MOU with Afrexim Bank on a coterie of projects that will be working hand in hand together and raising the funding, and they will also be helping to put together several of the funding. With international consulting firm Mahindra, Global Consulting, to help us to develop the feasibility study and the master plan for our industrial cities and parks. It's not just come and build industry here, everywhere. People are building this. We're acquiring about 5,000 to 7,000 hectares of land. That will be a complete industrial city with everything that you need to be there. And and this is being planned, and a master plan of that is being developed as we speak. Of course, the pharmaceutical industrial hub and the Akwi Head, the automotive, we call it the AUU, Akwi Head Unubioga Automotive Industrial Park, and so on. We are forging, part of what is different is that we are deliberately forging productive partnerships with the international development partners, the Anambra, and domestic investors, with the federal government, as well as the financial institutions. Yes, on the 9th of June last year, I think much of the international community, about 19 of them, Matthias, you were there, he led a team, the international community, from the ambassadors of the US, UK, Japan, Germany, France, and so on and so forth, South Africa, Egypt, and then all the development institutions. The World Bank country director is here. I'm sure he's on one of the, his keynote speaker in one of the panel sessions. And then IMF, and everybody was here. UNDP, UN System, UNIDO, and everybody was here. 19 of them came on a chartered flight from the UN to tour Anambra with all the opportunities, and I won't tell you much what has been the spin-off from all of this. We are very deliberate about these partnerships, and we will continue to cement them and put Anambra on the map. And what again is different is that, like a personal commitment, and we have an organized, competent team. We have a one-stop shop, the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, which we are reviewing to expand their scope to also incorporate a financing arm. And I think there is a session for that today, where you talk about possibilities that we're exploring. And if need be, beside the investment funds that we might be developing, if it becomes necessary, we might actually, help to metamorphose or orchestrate deliberately the emergence of a new financial institution to help to propel this, if we're not getting the kind of partnerships and networks that we will require. We will have to bring one on board. Tomorrow, we'll be doing groundbreaking ceremony. Like I said, this is not just a talk shop. Following from here, tomorrow, we'll be having a groundbreaking ceremony for the second automobile manufacturing company here in Anambra after Innocent. The Oma Kojo groups at Omonya will be having the groundbreaking ceremony today. For some months to come, even days to come, we will be commissioning projects before the end of this year. Anambra is the place. Why some are still waiting to see when the situation is all perfect? Those who are taking the first mover advantages are moving in and expanding. I see Seahorse there, yeah. And the other day I was at the Tiger Foods. Is that? There are expansion plans to commission that. And within this year, I understand the Eastern Distilleries and Foods Industries Limited, being pioneered by one of our traditional rulers, Dr. Igwe Chris Orano Chidume, is going to be ready for commissioning this year. True or false? Yes, he says it's true. Thank you very much. We will be coming on to commission that. I understand that's going to employ quite a number of people. Reliable Steel and Plastics Industries of Chief Mrs. Maria Ihiono and Chief Sam Ihiono, that will be also ready for commissioning in the next a couple of weeks or so. The EEDC metering company at Orifite, and I understand is now ready for commissioning, and the next week or two or so, we will be doing that. That's a long list of people who will be coming. Like I said, if you produce it here in Anambra, appoint me as your chief marketing officer, and I will be there to do the commissioning. And today, we have symbolically, out of maybe 3 dozen or so of MOUs that are ready to be signed, we've symbolically chosen quite a few for the symbolism of it, because they cover different sectors. There is the financing bit of it, which will have to do with Afrexim Bank. There is the consulting development of bankable feasibility studies that will be done by the Mahindra, as I mentioned, to generate a master plan as well for our industrial city. Then we have the Anambra Intra-City Rail. Intra-City Rail. These people have talked about it for decades, but there has been no feasibility study. There has been no master plan. We now want to walk the talk. We are hiring the CPCS of Canada, an international consulting firm that has helped to midwife several of the train services around Africa, and even the ones that we have had here in Nigeria. They will be producing a bankable feasibility study for us between now and probably the next 6 months. We are signing that agreement today, not tomorrow. They will produce that master plan, and then we will begin to get the money to get this done. We'll have the automotive industrial park co-promoter, Oma Kojo Motors, joining us with that. We have the pharmaceutical industrial park, the Oka shopping mall. We've chosen sectors, different segments. We'll pick one person. We'll pick one representative of different ones, whether it is in the area of commerce, the shopping mall, or in the industrial automotive, or the promotion there. Then we get on to promoting a key thing we are promoting as a government, and that is public, community, private initiative, partnership, that the community partners with government. And the NENI has been a shining model of that. They are now dealing with an NENI water scheme, and we want to sign that here as well today. Mainstreaming this. NKO Agro Park. I understand this is a diaspora, a medical doctor, Dr. Daw, who has a medical practice in New Jersey, and who, people go and talk to the diaspora talk. No, this is not talk. And I understand they even have deposited about $1.5 million for some years and stock somewhere, but the bottlenecks were immense. I said, no, not with this government. Here, if you go there and they don't answer, you call me. We will unlock it in minutes. And so we are signing that agreement today symbolically, and we will let her have the land and go on to develop this product. And you can send the message to the diaspora. There is nothing hindering you from coming. If you come, I will come and receive you at the airport and take you to your land. And that's why we are deliberately having the land bank for industrialization and investment. So you don't come looking around. Come to us. We'll give you a parcel. Go there and develop. And we are deliberately going to take gas and power to those industrial cities and industrial parks so that you can have embedded power in them, those basics and the infrastructure in those. That's why I say we are very intentional. There is the Green Village Electricity Joint Venture Partnership, and they are doing this in the areas of the Nzam area. They had to reach poor sections of Anambra State. They are taking power to them. And then we'll sign something. We're supporting the concessionaires on the Onitsha River Port. Just to say that we are intent on seeing the barges start loading, Onitsha Port, becoming port of final destination and port of origin. Port of final destination and port of origin. And with the support we think we're likely to have, we are getting from the NIWA and so on, we're going to get it done. And I will tell you, my dear friends, we are here at a personal level, guarantees. This is part of the question people ask us. And I have said it severally here. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a prominent Onye Anambra, former ambassador, told me she was in the US and conversing about people investing. And there was something one of them said. At one of the meetings, they complained that, governors ask people to come and invest, but they don't put their own investment there. You look at those who have born and they simply be governor, and after that they all run away and so on. If it is so nice, why don't they put their money? And that reminded me about an experience we had when we envisaged and designed the establishment of Transcorp. And when that was going to take off, the initial investor said, myself and the former president of Obasanjo, who came with the program, that we needed to put our own money. And both of us actually raised money and put in there to show that we believe. We believe. We don't just say, ask you to come. We do what? We believe. And I am saying at a personal level, if that is what will be required, I will also, if I can't get it, I can see some of the bankers here. If I don't have it, I know the bankers to go and borrow the money from. If you want that, the only way you want to invest there is that I should put in even if it is 1 naira, I will put in there as equity to tell you that I am in it for you and with you. And at a state, we are very deliberate. We're setting up an investment fund that we will also go with you if we need to, besides providing you with land and infrastructure. I applied for this job to help to build a state where I will not only live, retire, and die. This is my home. God didn't make a mistake in choosing to make me Onye Anambra. So, I'm putting in everything into this. So, we're at, and finally to say, we are going to do everything to encourage you in any way that you want to make your business prosper, to help to de-risk your investment here in Anambra. The coordinator, UN coordinator, made a very fundamental point that what must drive investments must not necessarily be in terms of profit and loss account, but also the social impact. Yes, when they built Israel, when they decided to intentionally build it as one of the most prosperous places in the world, it was not the most profitable place, but people were intentional about it. Maybe the rate of return, and I bet you if you produce it here, produce it in many places, I'm not quite sure if you go beyond Lagos, anywhere else that it will be more profitable, that has a larger market than here in Anambra. So if it is even in terms of profitability, Anambra, you'll have the market to put it. And like I said, we're a hub to the north, a hub to the southeast, southwest, south, and of course, the heartland of the east. So this is the place that you'll come. And we will do everything. In addition to recognizing all those of you who are making these sacrifices and investment, we will have, annually, besides the awards that we give and, to honor those of you who have become champions, who are employers of labor, this deserves to be the people that we should reward and recognize the most. A time is coming, in the coming months, it will be like if you tell us you are Onya Anambra, you are doing this and that, the question we ask you is, how many people, where is your factory? How many people are you employing? How many kilometers of road have you tarred? How many days, how many schools have you adopted? How many hospitals are you assisting? What have you done today to make Anambra great? What are you doing? That will become the basis for our reward and so on. And I want to tell you, we are going to be intentional about it. In fishing out those who are our champions, who are moving our state forward, and we will continue to reward you. For those who are mad, I once more welcome you to this particular edifice. I'm sure for many of you, this is your first time here. You are the first time here on this magnificent International Convention Center, Anambra State. I want to appreciate my predecessor in office, Chief Willie Obiano, who conceptualized and built this. We'll never acknowledge that enough, and we'll thank him. Even the airport that he also at least started it and got it to where he is. We are still building it, and I'm hoping we are going to get it completed. Probably today you've come to Anambra International Convention Center, Oka. Hopefully, I haven't even discussed this with him, but if he agrees, if he accepts, the next time when you come here, it will now become the Willie Obiano International Convention Center. Yes. If you accept, that's what we'll do. We play a different kind of politics in Anambra. Our politics is statesmanship. And all my predecessors in office, beginning from him, Chief Willie Obiano, did a great job. From him, you have the others, even the earliest ones, Dr. Chukwuma Soludo, first civilian governor we had here in this state. You get down to Dr. Chinwoke Mbadinuju, who many people forget was the one that established the Anambra State University at his own time. And of course, Dr. Chris Ngige and Mr. Peter Obi. These are our governors. We are going to deliberately find either institutions, boulevards, major streets, major roads, to name after them. To name after them. And several of our people deserving of this, former governors, even them, Vejie Tiaba, and some other, Chinua Achebe, for example, Francis Cardinal Arinze, or Archbishop Anikwenwa, and so on. Major, Emeka Anyoko, and all of that. We have to be deliberate about celebrating our best. But very importantly, for the event today, for these people who are putting down their mouth here, I've seen my brother, Poco Bros, Oji Soviam, Igwe Orano, and others, not to talk about Dozie and others, the Ibetos, the Innocents, the Koscharis, and so on and so forth. All those who have their investments, creating jobs, creating wealth, we will keep on to honor them. And as we honor them, the young ones will now say that in Anambra, hard work is what we celebrate. Integrity is what we celebrate. We don't celebrate criminality in Anambra. We don't celebrate money that we don't know the source. In Anambra, we celebrate hard work. We celebrate enterprise. We celebrate those who make contribution to society. And this is what Anambra is all about. And if you are about that, I will be yours sincerely, will be your chief servant and your chief marketer. Once more, welcome to Anambra and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much and God bless you.
I think you'll agree with me that he deserves a way bigger round of applause than that. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, for that very uplifting speech. I like the idea very much of honoring those who have done very well and made Anambra State proud. And we thank you for that gesture. In case you find a small street on the corner, I think Ebuka or Biuchendo Street sounds very good as well. Thank you very much, sir. But on a more serious note, I like the fact that you said Anambra is no longer your hands together for him. Thank you very much. And we also quickly have here with us the Director General of the Southeast Governors Forum, Senator Lady Uche Ekwunife. Your hands together for her. Thank you very, very much. It's time for us to take a quick